Tôi niệm cho cậu.
Uh,
Niệm lại ạ.
Welcome to 5-Minute Bible Study. Today we will study on 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verses 1 to 10 when Paul explains his vision and his thorn. So I would entitle as the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I know it is a term borrowed from a Christian rapper by the name Lecrae, but I'm sure he took it from a movie of the same name. God allowed us to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly times, even though all of them are Father filtered. Paul went through all. Verse 1 to verse 5, the good. He had visions and revelations. They were so good to the point where he was not even willing to describe himself in first person. He described in second person. He said he went to paradise in heaven. He heard inexpressible things. Whoa, what an excursion! We all have this paradise experience in our life, isn't it? The first time we met the Lord, or the time He provided us miraculously, or the time we undoubtedly heard His guidance, or the time, and again, reminder that we are loved and that we are no longer slaves. Might not be as dramatic as that of Paul's, but definitely we have such paradise moments. Good moment, we certainly have them. But things turned ugly in verse 6 to 7. First of all, it was ugly. It was bad. Secondly, things turned bad in verse 6 to 7. Because he had to refrain from mentioning all these glorious experiences. It's a bad time for me and most of those people who love talking. It's very hard to hold back some of the things that you really want to say. Worse so, he had thorn in the flesh. He was tormented by the messenger of Satan. Some people try to know that. Thorn in the flesh. And probably some of them say it might be that he had eye problem because the Galatian churches want to give him their eyes. Galatians 4:15, and some say it might be an epilepsy, or some say it may be some people like Alexander who did great harm, 2 Timothy 4:14. But I'm glad he didn't mention the specifics, because we can simply put ourselves in that situation. Each of us has thorn in the flesh, isn't it? Bad time, we do have failures, sickness, addiction, debts, and even death. It can be a bad time. But God is good at the good time, at the bad time, and even at the ugly time. To me, things turned very ugly, worse than bad, when he needed to plead for 3 times. According to Simon Samuel, the principal of the Bible college that I attended to, he said he was not asking, pleading 3 times, consecutive times, Lord, please take this away, Lord, please take this away, Lord, please take this. That's not what's happening. He was praying to the Lord to let him take out that thorn. But it was too painful to bear, and the second time he pleaded again, and it was too painful to bear, and he pleaded for 3 times like that. So it was hard for Paul. He tarries for some time until he had to cry again and again and again for 3 times. He definitely did not get what he pleaded for. Things can turn ugly when God doesn't show up, when we expected and needed him the most. When the demeaning silence is the answer to our cry. When the answer to pray for our sick mom or dad or brother or sister or cousin is death. Things can be ugly. But there is a positive but here in verse 9. He say his grace is sufficient. Looking at the humorous part of the statement, we can say maybe like that of Spurgeon, we can say the atmosphere is sufficient for a little fly, or the ocean is sufficient for a small fish. His power is made perfect in our weakness. Now, let us imitate Paul in taking delight in our weakness, insults, and hardships, because God is really good all the time. I've heard the saying which goes like this: don't forget in the dark what God has said in the light. I want to say today, Lord, thank you for your sufficient grace in our good, bad, and ugly time. May God help all of us to be able to say, Lord, your grace is sufficient for me. Indeed, His grace is sufficient for us even today. Thank you so much. God bless you.